Aloha mai kākou, e komo mai to Curtain Call, a program of reviews, previews, interviews, and features of and or with the great art and artists on Maui and beyond. I'm Paul James Brown. Maui is one of the most special places in the world. It has variety of climate, topography, flora, and fauna in this tiny 727 square mile volcanic rock in the most remote place on the planet that no other place in the world has in such a concentrated area. For 17 years, the East Maui Watershed Partnership has been exposing residents and visitors to the wonders of our native, endemic, and extinct species through the Malama Wao Akua art exhibit. First at the Viewpoints Gallery, and now for the last 6 years at the Noʻeau Visual Arts Center. It has several features no other exhibition has. First, every piece entered needs to be vetted by experts for its accurateness and appropriateness in depiction and materials. Then there are two jurors, one who represents the fine art side and one who comes from the scientific naturalist side. Each get a juror's choice and an honorable mention. Then they have to agree on the Scholastic Awards. There is a juror's choice for high, middle, and elementary school entries, as well as the Conservation Professional, Rarest Find, and Art of Conservation Awards. This year, the jurors were Chenta Lowry, a well-known Maui artist whose work is in many public and private collections, including the State Foundation on Culture and the Arts, and Carrie Fay, who has spent 2 decades working with Hawaii's native ecosystems, first with Maui Invasive Species Committee, then for the last 15 years with the Nature Conservancy, where she is currently Geographic Information Specialist. Ms. Lowry chose Gwen Arkin's Subtitle, a mixed media work revealing the microscopic complexity of algae. Her honorable mention went to Gina Thacker's photo of a Hawaiian stilt in the early morning in the pond behind Long's in Kihei. Ms. Fay selected Lana Ka Mana'o, Hope, a watercolor and ink by Amy Justin. This painting depicts Maui's most endangered bird, the kiwikiu, and the effort to repopulate it. For her honorable mention, she selected Brian Kimmel's etched acrylic of a new species of tardigrade found on Haleakala and named after Dr. Samuel M. Ohukani Ohia Gun III. The Scholastic Awards were high school Madison McAlinden's photo of the blossom of the Naupaka Kahakai, middle school Makana Kwan's watercolor Malama Ka Lokahi, depicting the once abundant i'iwi that has been the victim of habitat reduction, and the artist represents that by the background disappearing. Finally, we have a watercolor pencil and crayon work by elementary schooler Bianca Brass of the O'opu that is born in the ocean and climbs back up waterfalls to spend the rest of its life in the mountains. The award for the rarest find went to Sarah Metz for Kamale Ona'iwi Manu. These are ceramic rattles in the form of existing and extinct birds, including a kohekohe, apapani, i'iwi, amakihi, aloa'ahi, and kiwikiu. The Conservation Professional Award went to Zach Pizzillo for this photo of Hanavai, the last remaining pristine native forest in Hawaii, located on the windward slope of Haleakala. It's 7,000 acres of dense forests and subalpine grasslands. The final Jurors Award for the Art of Conservation went to Maggie Sutroff for this watercolor, Return to the Awahi, depicting the planting of the ho'ava, kolea, and pilo, the last of its type of ho'ava in the Awahi. The show features 106 artists and 122 works of art representing 74 native and endemic species. The jurors for this show had a very hard time because there are some truly exceptional works in this show. One of the most unique is this collaboration between painter Beth Cooper and ceramicist Mary Ann Lee, entitled Abstract Slice of Life, From the Depths to the Heights. It starts with the cone shell, then a black-tipped reef shark, a saddle wrasse, and then frigate birds. It's elegant, and it causes one to pause. When I first saw this diptych of an i'iwi, I thought, what a terrific acrylic. I wonder who the artist is. And just like when I saw Cassie Polly's piece in Art Maui a few years ago, I was shocked to see that this amazing work is a photo on metal by Brian Berkowitz, one of our finest photographers. Noble Richardson is among the great artistic treasures. This work, Endemic Luke, is so special. It portrays the late Luke Kamalani Koku Ikala McLean, who dedicated his life to restoration and reforestation. Mr. Richardson ground red stone from the Waikapu River and mixed it with kukui nut oil to create the media for this remarkable portrait. For Mr. Richardson, this show is a family affair. Elementary school daughter Nyla created warm blossoms, an acrylic painting of an iiwi on an ohia lehua. While I was at the show, it sold. I love the way she mixes impressionism with realism, like the f-stops on a 35mm camera. Very mature. Endemics Invasives, Don't Shred on Them by Larry Burko is a whimsical depiction of the theme. A stilt peeks out from behind the figure's calf, an iiwi appears in a bubble, and a mamane floats in a circle. Then we see the invasives X'd out, kokies and pigs, among others. Frank B. Shaner depicts the koa as a guitar in this mixed koa wood, acrylic, natural fern, and koa work. I love the fern lay around the neck of the guitar. An encaustic collage by one of the few artists to create a style, the two worlds, Maui's Robert Lynn Nelson did this iiwi on a 1779 map done by Captain James Cook of the Hawaiian Islands, he calls the Sandwich Islands, as well as Kealakekua Bay, Cook IDs as Karakakoa Bay. The detail in the iiwi is hyper-realistic. The motion in this hand-dyed silk depiction of the Ohe Makua in the Awahi by Bev Lundquist makes one want to hold onto your hat. It's palpable. Maui has many endemic ferns. Anna Marie Sheehan's acrylic on cardboard of the Ama'au will make you want to take a trip up to Haleakala to see one. Deb Lynch has done a textile image of endangered Hawaiian petrels, focusing on its plight of being confused by bright lights, such as those coming from the airport and the towns, causing them to fall to the ground or to crash into buildings. Jewelry is also represented in this show. Here is Barclay Hill's sterling silver ring of the tentacle of the He'e, the night octopus. This pu'eo, taking off by Becky Lewis, is made of fishtail palm. It has an almost crazed look to it, enhanced by its popping red eyes. There are several outstanding works by young artists besides the jurors' choices. Here is an exceptional acrylic painting of a kumu, a rare fish species by Matthew Takakura, a high school student who shows great promise. In what appears to be an homage to Zach Franks, who specializes in shooting the leaves in his yard, J. Mark Anchetta came in close on the Lulu to capture this stunning image. One of my personal measures of artistic talent is graphite ability. Grace Ross, a middle school student, demonstrates remarkable talent in this amazing drawing of an extinct alala. Here is an acrylic on canvas by elementary school student Luke H.K. Tanaka called He Vai, Heroes. It's a portrait of Uncle Skippy, who puts the He Vai, small fresh water snails, in a bucket when there is no water in the stream and carries them to the water in the valley. I love this charcoal valley study of the Kiwikiu by middle schooler Olivia Aoki so much, it will join my collection when the show closes in November. The talent and skill exhibited by these extraordinary young artists not only causes awe and hope, but also joyful anticipation for what they will create in the future. Malama Wao Akua continues Wednesday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. until November 5th. There are wonderful works by some of our best artists. It's not only instructive, but it will help you to appreciate how special this place is. Bravo to all associated with this show. Well, that's Curtain Call for this week. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Paul James Brown. Ahui ho.